welcome back to my channel. So recently someone went on Chazz's Facebook and they decided to ask him, how does he feel when he's watching these shows back and he sees and hears the things that Branwin's saying about him in the relationship and what she feels or maybe what she doesn't feel. And he says it hurts, of course, because I got to know her sober and when she was in love with me. To see the influence the environment and her friends have on her is very sad, let alone how little empathy or sentimental value she places on anything but herself. Now I'm just numb to her BS. So let's go ahead and talk about Chaz and Branwin in this last episode. So he decided he was going to travel to Oregon to go see Branwin for his birthday. And usually she has a curfew and she claims she can't have any guests over to spend the night. And so she actually got permission from her parole officer to have an overnight with Chaz at this little cabin. And this is pretty much like going to be their honeymoon because they never got to have a honeymoon together after they got married, except for that time when she freaked out and had that anxiety attack and they made her hurry up and take her home. So she's at her friend Tara's house. They're doing all the decorations and preparing for Chaz to come over while Branwin sits there and does schoolwork on the couch because she said if she didn't get this done, then she was going to violate her parole or something like that. And meanwhile, Chaz is at the airport. He shows up to the airport and the computers go down right before he checks in for his flight. And then so his flight ends up getting delayed. He calls Branwin. He's super upset because he's not going to be able to spend as much time as he'd like with Branwin now that he has a delay. And you could tell that Branwin was low-key excited. Like, she would have loved it if there was a delay after delay to where he was never able to even come. And when Branwin got off the phone with Chaz, her friend Tara said, yeah, Chaz sounds like a little bean. And you can tell Tara don't like Chaz whatsoever. Plus, Tara is the girl that Branwin does the 2-girl appointments with. Like, under her escort profile, they have reviews together. So that's her working partner right there. She don't want Chaz taking him away. And it's like, damn, Branwin. You can't even try to defend your man. You ain't going to check your friend or anything. She just said, yeah, I know he's upset. So then Chaz calls back again hours later saying his flight got delayed once again. And Branwin was using that as an opportunity by trying to talk Chaz into just not coming at all. She's like, what's the point? And Chaz, he just wants to come regardless. He doesn't care if he just gets to spend a few minutes with her. He has his head set on seeing Branwin. And Branwin was just catching an attitude with him, saying she doesn't understand why he's coming and she thinks it's stupid. And she's like, don't you want to just get your money back? But I don't even think Chaz cares about the money. He just wants to see her at this point. And I'm pretty sure, just in my opinion, I get the vibe that Branwin behind the scenes, she's probably spilling all the tea to Tara and telling her how she really feels and saying, look, I don't want to hook up with this man. I just, pretty much just want to use this man for his money and that's it. And Tara kind of knows that, the whole idea of Branwin hooking up with Chaz is a sensitive topic for her, and she kind of annoys her with it, messes with her, and she's like, oh, you can tell Chaz is expecting sex, and you could tell Branwin did not look excited at all. She looked like she was trying to come up with any excuse in the world to get out of having one-on-one time with Chaz, and that's all Chaz had on his mind. He had some lingerie already bought for her. He kept talking about how he just wanted to be alone with his wife, and Branwin was telling the producers she wants to do it with Chaz, but she doesn't feel comfortable doing it sober. And it's like, girl, you're 40 years old. You need to just tell this man that so he's not showing up expecting it, because obviously you've been feeding into it and making this man think you're down when he's this excited for it. So Chaz ended up not getting into Oregon until 3 a.m. So he was at the airport. I think he originally got there at like 3 or 4. So he was at the airport for a good while. So he ended up staying at the hotel for a night. So the next morning, he was on his way to go see Branwin, and Branwin was telling her friends that's on Chaz that he still wanted to show up anyways, knowing they don't have much time together. So she hopes he doesn't feel obligated for her to just jump into bed with him and get naked as soon as he gets there. And when her friends gave her the option, well, how about we just don't go out for his birthday? We'll skip the strip club so you and him can just have more time together to have alone time. And she was like, hell to the no to that idea. obvious. She was dead set on going out with her friends. She's probably going to try to stay out into the club literally until it closes so she can try to spend as little time as possible with Chaz and hope for a way out of it. So Chaz, he finally shows up and Branwin comes out with the fakest happy excited face, acting like she was thrilled and like she literally had veins popping out of her neck by how much she was just forcing it. Like, it was so obvious. She was, like, literally gritting her teeth to put on a happy face because you could tell she wanted to be anywhere but right there at that moment. And so I think that's why Branwyn really had me fooled last season, because we didn't get to see both sides of her last season. So we just got to see how she was around Chaz. But this season, we get to see her around her friends and how she really acts, and then how much she forces it when she's around Chaz. And like when she does see Chaz, she puts on that baby voice. But Chaz be doing the same thing too. I don't know why they talk to each other like they're talking to some babies. I never got that. I don't get why she has to be so extra with trying to force it and everything. You think she'd be more natural at it because she's a working girl. She's had more than enough practice on how to put on an act and make someone feel special. That's literally her job. Plus, coming from someone who used to do Branwyn's drug of choice, heroin, that girl looked high as a kite. She could barely keep her eyes open. Like, she seemed fine the day before, but it's hard for me to really tell and get a real good look at Branwyn's eyes because of the size of her lashes. But it was so obvious when Chaz got there how high she was, and even her friend Tara was straight nodding off in the living room as well. And Tara is allegedly the one that got Branwyn back into escorting and back to using heroin again, according to people close to them. So Branwyn, she got so high as a kite to try to deal with this man. Chaz sits there and walks in, and he finds Branwyn's friends holding a cake and some flowers for him. And then, so they sit Chaz down, and they said they had some questions. Tara didn't waste no time. She told Chaz that she feels like Branwyn has only been here for a short time. We need more time with her, even though it's already been 4 months. And she starts crying, saying, oh, we need Branwyn. We would be lost without Branwyn. And not only do we need her, her daughter needs her as well. And Chaz was just like, look, y'all. You know, when she met me, she knew what it was. The whole plan was for her to get away from Oregon, to move to Kentucky, and we were getting married and for us to start a life together. I've been waiting 2 whole years, and this has been the plan from the jump. So you could literally feel the awkwardness through the TV screen. You could cut the tension with a knife so Branwyn could feel all that energy, and she decided to take Chaz outside, and she explained to him that things weren't supposed to go that way. She felt bad. I feel like low-key she probably talked to her friend Tara before Chaz got there, and she's like, yeah, please try to talk Chaz out of me going to Kentucky with him, because I sure as hell don't want to go. I feel like she was behind on that somewhat, and because it just seemed like she was expecting it. She tried to act like it was awkward and stuff, but it seemed like she was expecting it when they got there. And she's sitting there talking to Chaz, and the whole time she has like this long drag in her voice, and every time she blinked, she was struggling to open her eyes back up, and she was about to fall asleep mid-sentence talking to Chaz. And then Chaz was starting to realize, you know what? I think Branwyn's starting to have second thoughts about moving to Kentucky. And then when he asked her about it, she said, well, I don't want to talk about it now. I'll talk about it later. And so you can already tell where her mind is. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts about Chaz and Branwyn in this last episode in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.